It's the future, and things are getting pretty cool and pretty weird. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
It's a me,
Dario!
Woohoo! Let's go!
Alright, so first off, I have to mention this. The whole streaming on Mixer thing did not work out. Shocker. It didn't work. I have no idea why. I spent a really good time trying to fix it, and I think I got it, but by that time it was too late, so I will try again today. Before I have to go to the P1 Podcast Live, I will try it again today. Again, Mixer, I wanted to do it yesterday because I wanted to play Borderlands, but today I'm getting Modern Warfare, so, I mean, I'm going to play Modern Warfare. I have to. So, yeah, today, Mixer, or Twitch. Well, over the weekend, I'll be switching between Mixer and Twitch. So I'll be the name for that is Super Dario World. You'll find it right there. It'll work. I know trust me. If it's stressful for you, it's driving me nuts. But I will get it working. I think I figured it out. If not, I'm just gonna throw something out my window. Not the stuff that I need, but I'm gonna throw stuff out the window definitely. So if you're my downstairs neighbor, I'm sorry. Anyway. Yeah, speaking about the P1 Podcast Live, that is tonight. So if I'm going to be doing Bombed at the Beach afterwards. So if you're there, Dave & Buster's, even if you don't go into the event afterwards, find me. I'll be around. I will probably have a few drinks in me, so we can do Bombed at the Beach there. The one rule is that you also have to be, not sober. You have to be kind of bombed. So that's the big news there. Also, I mentioned this yesterday. Well, you can listen to the podcast in the iHeartRadio app. Just type in The Show Presents, Super Dario World. You'll find it right there. But you can also find it on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and a whole bunch of other sites. You can also find it on Podcast Addict, Spotify, and CastBox as Super Dario World Podcast. Also, you can find my podcast in Spanish, Super Dario World en Español, in the same thing. Again, iTunes, SoundCloud, not SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, Podcast Addict, Spotify, CastBox. We're everywhere, man. We're expanding. Like I mentioned before, it's an aggressive expansion. And now Mixer and Twitch is coming pretty soon. So like I said, it's getting out there. It's getting out there. You gotta put the work in. Anyway, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can always find me at Dario the Show on Instagram. But let's get into it. So there's one piece of news that to me is pretty cool, and then another piece of news that is just, let's just say I called it. So, first off, let's go with the good one, all right? The good news first. And that's that Virgin Airlines has announced Virgin Galactic. So, Virgin Airlines, the airline, duh. Anyway, they announced that they're going to start their first ever commercial flight into space. Now, to me, this is awesome because it's going to, let's say, normalize the final frontier. Right now, space is the final frontier, right? Where no man has gone before. Boldly go where no man has gone before. But now it's going to, they're going to normalize it. Traveling in space is going to become the normal thing. And which is actually not a bad thing, because I think if you go, traveling through space is a little bit, first off, I think it's a little bit safer. Well, getting there, I guess not. But I think it's a little bit faster and you save a little bit more resources because you don't have any wind resistance, so you can just go via inertia, and so you save on fuel. But getting up there, I don't know the logistics of it yet, but it is the future, and I think it's going to become very commonplace. Anyway, so what Virgin Galactic announced is that they're going to, very soon, they will be doing their very first flight out into space. And basically what it's going to consist of is they're going to travel at 3 times the speed of sound. 3 times the speed of sound on a rocket, and they're going to drop basically like a plane, an airship, and in space. Once they reach the edge of space, the people there will be, it's going to be 2 pilots plus 6 passengers. They're going to be floating around for a few minutes in space before heading back down into Earth, where it's going to operate like a normal plane. Now, the cost of this is $250,000. And supposedly they have a wait list of already like over 600 people. So, it's a lot. It's a lot of money. But if you have the money for it and you can say, I've been to space, I would totally do it. If I had an extra $250,000, I think I'd do it. For a few minutes in space, it sounds pretty cool. Honestly, to me, it sounds worth it. It's, again, you'd have to have a lot of money to burn, but it seems like an experience worth having. Now, again, this is probably the first step in it. Eventually, it has to come. Like, remember the price of TVs, how expensive they used to be before, and now you can get them super cheap. Technology just keeps getting better and better and cheaper, and there's more competition. So eventually it's going to go down. So I'm hoping that eventually one day I'll be in space. To me, this is a great sign because it means that the odds of me actually traveling to space just got a little bit higher. It's got a little bit higher. Maybe I won't be able to pay the $250,000, and by maybe I mean probably never. But I'm hoping the price will go down. I'm hoping we'll meet somewhere in the middle. That the price will go down, and that my earnings will go up, and that eventually we'll meet in the middle. Right? That seems pretty cool. That seems like it would be like a cool thing, at least for me. But I'm into space. If I would have seen the movie Interstellar when I was 13 years old, I would have done absolutely every single thing in my power to become an astronaut and to be the first man to walk on Mars. I would love it. I would love to just be like a space traveler, an explorer, explore the galaxy, be the first man to walk on Mars. Could you imagine being the first person to walk on Mars? If Neil Armstrong, his name is immortalized and his words were ever immortalized, like one giant leap for mankind. Imagine being the guy who walks on Mars, the first guy ever to walk on Mars. What words would you say? Ooh, that's a tough one. But it's a long flight, so you have a really long time to think about it. Anyway, so that's the fun news. Fun news for the future. The way of the future. The way of the future. Here comes the not-so-fun news about the future. High-tech Japanese hotel found out that its service robots have been hacked. Now, I've been to Japan. Robots are pretty cool. It's pretty interesting how they use them in certain places. I didn't stay at a high-tech hotel because, let me just put this out there. If you've listened to multiple on my podcasts, you probably know this about me. I don't trust robots. In general, I'm not a big fan of technology. If you've listened to a lot of my recent podcasts, I'm basically bitching about technology. I'm not a fan about a lot of things. AI in particular, not a fan. But right now we're talking about robots, right? I don't trust them. I don't like them. There's a lot of things that I don't like. I see the advantages in certain things, but overall, I don't like robots. Why? Because, and they take some people's jobs, which honestly, if a robot can take your job, then, probably it's half your fault because you should be able to do a better job than a robot. But it's also, honestly, I work in the service industry. If a robot is supposed to make your job easier, it shouldn't be able to take it. But then again, it's all about the people who hire them and all that stuff. I won't get into it because it's a complicated issue. It has a lot of sides. But let's get into this one. So there's a Japanese hotel that has one of its things is that it has a whole bunch of high-tech robots that service you. They scan your face. They take you to the room. They also have like a mini robot in your room that tells you the weather, that tells you... Imagine like having an Alexa there, but it's a robot and moves. And they realized that people have been able to hack into them and see through the camera inside the robot. The thing that used to scan your face, well, it's a camera, and it's people have been able to scan it. So they got hacked. And this has always been my issue with anything AI, with anything robotic, and that's that it can be hacked. Now, people make the mistake of thinking, and this is actually, I think the person who explains this the best is probably Joe Rogan in his stand-up. And he says, people think they're smart because they're capable of using a product that smart people made, right? Like, if you can use an iPhone, if you can use a computer, if you can give tasks to a robot, you think you're smart. You're not smart for using it. The person who made it is smart. And the person who made it, there's other people that's equally as smart, but even so, that person could hack that thing very easily. They can do whatever they want. And if it's not him, somebody else could just steal the tech and or reverse engineer it and equally smart. Somebody who's equally smart or smarter and hack it. Just because you know how to use it doesn't mean that there's not that you really understand it. And the way that he explains it is, all right, if I give you a hatchet and I leave you out in the woods, how long before you can send me an email? Right? How long before you can send him an email? And that's basically to explain, we don't know how things work. We just use them. We just use things. If it's a robot there until you can program it this way, blah, blah, it'll do this. You can understand how to use something, but you have no idea how it works. Honestly, you have no idea how it works. Most of us aren't electrical engineers. Most of us are not into robotics. Most of us are not into freaking AI or writing software and all that stuff. We don't understand it. But there are people out there, scary smart people who do. And so what are the odds of you, normal idiot, being able to stop alleged genius from hacking you, right? The odds are very, very, very much stacked against you. Also, this goes into one of the reasons why when people tell me about, like, dude, robotic parts, that would be awesome, imagine enhancing yourself. My idiot kid brother, Eric, he's always said, dude, if I could, like, get, like, robot eyes and see infrared and x-rays and all that stuff, I would do it in a second. If I could get robot legs and just be able to jump around and all that stuff like Master Chief, I would do it in a second. And I'm like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Because imagine if you got hacked. Imagine if I found a way to hack into your eyes and then you're blind. Then you can't see anything. Or worse, then everything you see, I can just start recording it and saving it and all that stuff. It'd be messed up. Imagine if all of a sudden I hack your arm and your arm don't work anymore. Just when you need it the most. Robot parts, robots in general, AI are a bad idea if they're hackable. If it's an independent thing that can only be that doesn't have access to, let's say, the net, I think it's a little bit safer. Let's say, for example, all right, okay, for example, let's say an avatar. You know how you put on an exoskeleton and you walk in that thing? Or the same thing they did in Aliens. You get into this big giant suit, into a giant mech, and you move it around and you do stuff. That's okay. That one needs a human pilot. It's the same thing as a plane. The plane, as long as the plane doesn't fly itself or uses AI or all that stuff, I'm cool with it, because that thing cannot be hacked. The problem is the hackers, okay? If they're connected to the web, you're screwed, because eventually you will get hacked. Eventually. It always happens. You know how an antivirus gets created? You need the virus first. So, yeah. So, good news for the future. Space travel. Looking forward to that. And honestly, I think this is a good sign. Right now, robots are becoming mainstream. People are using them more. And now they're realizing, they can get hacked. I've been talking about this for years. And now it's happening, right? Like, one of my first concerns is as soon as I heard about being able to have robots everywhere, it's like, dude, what if it gets hacked? Or what if it's, turns against you? What if it, becomes off the world, all that stuff? Now, the first one's already happened. It's getting hacked. And I'm really worried about the second one. Hopefully it won't happen. Hopefully this makes people realize, you know what, maybe not such a good idea. So, I don't know. I'll leave you with that. I'll leave you with that thought for the future. And for the future, like, all these people, smart houses that have cameras in every single freaking room in their house. Why are you doing this? Like, if you get hacked, or somebody who knows a little bit of what they're doing, then you've given somebody access to your entire house to be able to spy to you 24/7, to look at your kids, to look at your dogs, to look at your wife, to look at yourself. Why? I don't get it. I work with cameras every single day. When I'm not using them, I turn them away from me. I have a sticker blocking my webcam because I don't trust these people. And by that, I mean hackers and the evil people and the weirdos and the people who spy on you. Yeah. Anyway, food for thought for the future. It's the way of the future. And I don't like it. The way of the future. Anyway, that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Again, let me just give you a quick reminder. Today will happen for sure. I don't care what I have to do. I will manage to stream. And it's going to be in Spanish because I already have the videos here in English. So I'm trying to moderate. So I will stream today. Mixer, Super Dario, well, you can find it right there. And tomorrow, if you want to listen to my podcast in Spanish, I will load it later today. So hopefully you enjoyed that. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again I'll see you again on Monday.